now listening to Chop Talk by the fan, for the fan.
Welcome back, Braves Country. This is episode 6 of Chop Talk by the fan, for the fan. I'm your host, Ethan.
And I'm Bailey.
Let's just get right into it. Colorado series. Took the win there, 2-1. I really think we should have swept it. Was not a fan of the lineup call going into Game 3, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. Overall, a good series for the most part. The bats were awake for 2 games, not so much in the third game.
Oh, they were jumping.
Yeah, what really was a fan of was we scored a lot of runs on hits and not home runs.
Yep.
And that
All
is,
of them.
yeah,
All
that
of
is, yeah, right. We didn't have a single home run this series.
Which is crazy because Coors Field is notoriously known for its elevation and the ball flying out of the ballpark. So it was good to see a lot of runs scored without needing the long ball to do so.
And it gives me hope going into, next series we got coming up, the Dodgers. We cannot rely on the long ball against the Dodgers, especially with the juggernaut pitching staff they at least started the season with. Now they've about hurt them all. So
yeah, but yeah, that was a good series. I mean, anytime you win the first 2 games of a series, a sweep is definitely in the back of your mind. I mean, we've had a chance to sweep the last 2 series this past weekend against the Diamondbacks and then earlier this week against the Rockies. But at the end of the day, it just matters about the series.
End of the day, like you've been pointing out to me, because I've been very ill about losing that last game, you've been pointing out to me, 4th series win in a row.
Just got to win the series. It's a long season, and it's easy to get caught up in, and yes, we've talked about it a lot, and we're going to keep talking about it, is the 0-7 start. It's easy to get caught up in that. But at the same time, you got to remember it's a 6-month season.
It is.
If you just win the series as many times as you can.
162 games is a lot of games.
That's a lot of baseball.
I would just really, really like to have been a 500 ball club going into this Dodger series.
Oh, yeah. It'd been nice to be a clean start, 500 ball club going into May 1st.
I mean, the month of April, we really couldn't ask for much more. What were we, 14 and, what'd you say?
14 and 11.
11? 14 and 11 for the month of April.
Mm-hmm.
3 games above 500 for the month of April. We can do that the rest of the season. I mean, it's going to be a good season.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we're still going to talk about that 0-7 start, but it's not going to be, oh, man, we started 0-7. It's going to be, wow, look what the Braves did after an 0-7 start.
Yeah, and, I mean, yes, you can say, okay, the 0-7 start is behind us. It was over a month ago. Yes, you can say that. But at the same time,
it still follows us because we have not been a 500 or winning ball club yet, and we're now going into the 3rd month of the season.
And you get into the dog days of July, August, and September. If it comes down to the last game of the year of them winning the division, or at least even just getting into the postseason, the first thing I'm going to think of is, darn, we should have won at least 1 game out of that 0-7 stretch, and then we'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. But, I mean, it is what it is. You just got to keep going forward, keep winning the series. And that's what we've been doing. So
keep the bats hot.
You can't ask for much better.
I mean, 31 hits in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
14, and 3.
Yep.
3-hit third game was hard to watch.
Yeah.
But
and all of them being singles, no extra base hits.
None at all. All of those, 14. That's a great. I mean, that's what you want to see.
Yep.
Total of 15 runs, 11 for 40, runners in scoring position.
Which is 275.
And take that every day of the week.
Yeah, and that 275 is a good number, even with going 0 for 7 in Game 3 yesterday. So that was a big series. I mean, majority of the offense obviously came in Games 1 and 2, but at the end of the day, like I've been emphasizing, in my mind, just win the series. And that's what we did. So you got to take the win, 2 out of 3 on the road, and then just move on with it.
Now we are officially, after that series, have 1 more series than we've lost.
Mm-hmm.
So we're tracking good, we're heading in the right direction, and we're winning road series.
Yep.
Because up until last series, I believe it was, that was our first road series win of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All of our series losses have come on the road so far this year.
Yep.
Can't count the Marlins yet because that's still 1-1. So
Yep, that's right.
as of this point, we're either tied or won every home series.
Mm-hmm.
Going into a 7-game home stretch against the team we're 0-3 against so far this year. Hoping to turn that around, but let's focus on this Colorado series a little bit. We'll start off with Elder's performance, Game 1. How do you feel about it? Because I'm
I was satisfied.
satisfied.
I think six innings with 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks and 4 Ks. That's a quality start. You're keeping the offense at bay. You're going 2/3 of the game with your own arm and only giving up 3 runs. I mean, even if the offense isn't getting 14 hits, you're still in the game. So I think Elder, I think it was a good game for him to get his confidence back where you want it to be, because I think he's a guy we're probably going to see in the rotation for a good little bit. So I think he needed a good quality start like that, and I was very satisfied with it.
And that was probably my thoughts on it. Was I would say quality. I would still like to see. Yes, he got the hits down, but I'd like to see the earned runs trend down just a hair with him, because what's his ERA right now? I'm not exactly sure, but he has been giving up some runs, and that's okay. But right now, I just like to see him track down just a little bit if our bats aren't going to be awake.
He's still at a 5.3.
Still at a 5.3, yeah. But our bats, if they're going to be awake like they were in that game, because, I mean, we won 6-3, Game 1. So they weren't, but we collected 14 hits. So the bats were there to give some run support. But not every night our bats are going to be there, just obviously Game 3. So I would just like to see it trend down a little bit, but I would agree with you as a quality start for a confidence level.
Yeah, and you obviously you want to see it come down, but anytime a guy is above a 5 and
who struggled to start the
who
season.
has struggled and been consistently decent, if he goes out there and start after start and he consistently gives up 3 runs in 6 innings, I'll take that any day of the week, especially with the way the bullpen's been throwing.
As long as the bullpen keeps shoving, and we'll get into their full stats.
So, yeah, I mean, I was overall excited for Elder. I think that's definitely a start for him to build on. He only had 4 Ks, so he was definitely getting good out contact. Let his D work.
He was showing shades of Maddox with it, which is fine with me. I mean, if you can be compared to Greg Maddox, that's a compliment in and of itself. But overall, quality.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we got the win, 6-3. Moving on into Game 2. 8-3 win. A.J. Smith-Shawver brought back up to start, and obviously he came out of the game with that scary shot to the elbow, 105-mile-an-hour ball to the elbow. And I personally think they pulled him out just for he was 5 1/3 innings into his start. It was, hey, you've done a great job for us tonight.
Now let's make sure you're healthy.
Yeah, let's make sure you're healthy.
Yeah.
If it was, first inning, second inning, I believe they let him stay out there.
Yeah. I mean,
and see what happens.
Probably depending on where his mind was at, because, I mean, when you get with something going 105 mile an hour, it's either,
oh, it's going to rattle you.
Oh, crap, I'm hurt, or it's, I think I can get through this.
Yeah.
So I think it all probably would have depended on, his reaction and what he was saying.
And I think that's one thing I would have liked to have seen, at least let him try another batter just to see that mentality behind him. Because I want to know if his mentality is there I'm a dog, I can keep going, or if it's one little thing happens and crap. Which, from what we've seen of him, I think he's got that more of a... Because most of his starts, even like this one, he went 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Most of his hits and runs come early in the game.
Yeah.
And he battles back and he shuts down for the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I think he's got that, all right, bet, let's do this.
Just settle in.
I'm going to settle in and I'm going to attack. You're not going to scare me off. You're not going to rattle me. I'm going to lock back in and I'm going to go get you.
Now, if it's the postseason, you're probably going to see him at least try to keep going. But this early in the season, I think they definitely made the right call. I mean, you've gone 5 1/3. Let's get you in the clubhouse. Make sure you're good. Let's not risk any further injury. Go with somebody else. Pat on the back. Great job today.
But overall, to be brought back up after being sent down, it was a very good start.
Mm-hmm.
Very good start.
Yep.
Got us in a great position. He ended up giving up 3 runs, only 2 earned.
No, it was an 8-2 game.
Oh, it was 8-2?
8-2.
Okay,
No,
never
no.
mind. Excuse me, I'm wrong. 2 earned runs. So,
Mhm.
and then the bullpen did what it does. And the bats, another 14-hit game for the Braves. Just, they were awake. That's all I can say about that. The bats were awake.
Yep.
And they were getting runners in when we needed it.
Yep.
Not leaving guys out there.
I think game 2, it was 6 for 18 with runners in scoring position.
That's a perfect 300.
333 to be exact. But yeah.
Yeah.
Take that any day of the week. Any day of the week. So that was good to see. So now that we're talking about good quality starts from our rotation, let's get into probably the best one in Game 3. Even though we took the loss in Game 3, the best start we saw from our rotation in the series was Chris Sale finally showing what we're used to seeing from him. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts.
Something we've been talking about is we want to see Sale back to Sale doing Chris Sale things.
Mm-hmm.
And you texted me right before the game started because we were talking, and you were like, if we get 6 innings out of him, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and like 5 Ks, I'm ecstatic about that start.
Yep.
Well, he did better.
Yep.
He went 7 innings. Yeah, he gave up 1 more hit than you'd like. Who cares? It was only 2 runs.
Yep.
And 10 strikeouts.
Yeah. And that was mainly just a kind of like a ballpark of, hey, let's not just try to go out here and go deep. Let's try to get our hits down. Let's try to keep our walks down. Let's try to keep runners off the bases. Let's try to limit how many runs we give up. And let's try to do what we do and get whiffs.
And he did that.
Yes, he did.
And unfortunately, our offense just did not have his back.
Yep.
3 hits total.
Yep.
3 total bases.
Yeah. Anytime you step on the mound with that stat line when you walk into the clubhouse, at the end of the day, you have deserved to win.
You did.
And it's just baseball. Sometimes you just don't. There's defense and there's offense. And in Game 3, we just didn't have the offense.
We didn't.
Hats off to the Rockies. They're probably the worst team in baseball right now. But at the end of the day, they're a Major League Baseball team. They're going to have their good days. And they got a few more hits than we did. And that's pretty much, how it went down. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due.
I personally think, and it's something I brought up to you while we were just running through some stuff, rerunning through the games before this. Verdugo did not start this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something, as when I saw the lineup for Game 3, I texted you about it. I was like, hey, I don't like this call.
Mm-hmm.
Verdugo has been a staple since he joined the Braves, and then we put him in the lineup. Been a great leadoff guy. Yes, Michael Harris has been a great leadoff guy for us too. But when Verdugo's been leading off, it has given our offense confidence.
Yeah.
Because he's going out there and he is absolutely raking. Take out his first game, the 0-5, and he's batting almost 400 right now.
Yeah.
He is absolutely raking at the plate. He's already had 2 4-hit games.
Yeah.
And I think that caused a small chain effect because Michael Harris was lead off 0 for 4, which, like you said, even with 2 of our hits were from role players. Mm-hmm. We have 7 other guys that should have hit. It's unacceptable, inexcusable.
Yeah.
And I agree. But I think having Verdugo up there, yes, Eli White has been hitting great. And I understand we just signed Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to get him some starts. But in that game, as crucial as it is, getting us to a 500 ball club, I would have liked to have seen our normal lineup with Verdugo out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Verdugo has obviously stepped up in a very big way. I mean, we got into it the other night, talking about when the whole Profar situation occurred and what was going to happen there. Was he going to get brought up, or were we going to make some other moves? Blah blah blah. He's definitely stepped up and he has exceeded any the expectations that anybody has had for him this year. He's done amazing. I guess it's just one of those things that we're not in the late 80s, early 90s anymore where guys play 5 full seasons without a day off. I mean, you're going to see guys take probably at least one day off every 10 games. Not every 10 days.
Olsen.
Unless you're Matt Olson, Mr. Iron Man. I mean, but yeah, I mean, yes, when you get down to it, yes, I would have liked to see Verdugo in the lineup just because he has hit so well. But if it felt like, hey, let's give you a day break, let's see what Rosario can do since we've got him back in a Braves uni. I'm not necessarily mad about it. I mean,
I understand the call. I just think with how our season is, and it was our first opportunity to get us back to a 500 ball club, I would have liked to seen our best lineup on the field that day.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it.
Because yes, it's a game in April, the long season, but you have to look at it in small batches. And this small batch was our chance after being 0-7 to get back to a 500 ball club with 4 months left in the season. And basically, like you said, clean slate, restart going into May.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, there's always that if Verdugo could have gone out there and gotten the golden sombrero and struck out 4 times yesterday. You never know. But, I mean, that's why we're here. We just got to have something to talk about.
Exactly. It gives us something to talk about.
But, and me personally, I would like to see Harris a little more at the leadoff spot. I mean, you got to go with what's working. So I think we're going to see Verdugo continue to hit leadoff. But Harris just has that classic leadoff bat. He can hit, he can put it in the gap, he can steal. I mean, but that's just me personally. If it's not working out, it's not working out, and you've got to go with what's working, which is right now it is Verdugo. But I think that's going to be the 2 guys you see batting leadoff probably for a good while, and maybe even after Acuna comes back. I kind of doubt it. We talked about that the other night, but you never know. I mean, that's the 2, Harris and Verdugo, and then Acuna. As the season goes on, any day of the week you can put any of them in the leadoff spot.
Just depending on who's pitching, I guess, at that point.
That's right. 2 of them hit from the left side, and then you got Acuna on the right side. And all 3 of them, being good leadoff hitters, can also hit pretty much anywhere in the lineup. So, I mean, plenty of options there. Plenty of options that we're going to have as the year goes on this season.
And another thing that's got plenty of options, that shutdown bullpen we got going on right now.
Yeah.
Throughout the series, the bullpen went 7 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 0 runs allowed, only 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts throughout the whole series. Not a single run was given up in 3 games by our bullpen. .78 whip with a 8.22 Ks per 9. The only thing I had to say about the bullpen, I'm not going to say we because this is a point I bring up a lot, and it's just me being me. Iglesias. Yes, he went out there and he threw an inning, and he gave up no runs. But he gave up 1 hit, and 2 of his outs were both caught. One was caught against the fence by Michael Harris, and the other one was caught very close to the warning track. Hard hit balls that weren't far from being home runs. And that is a trend that we have seen a lot of out of him this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still not sold on him in the closer position. I'd still like to see Daysbel Hernandez maybe, or somebody.
Yeah, I think if you're going to make that switch, I don't see anybody other than Hernandez going in that position. I think an out is an out, yes,
yeah.
But both of those balls were hit very hard. So you still have to kind of take that into consideration when you're talking about how hard he has been hit this season. But, if he continues to get better, continues to start throwing like he normally does, he's going to stay in that spot.
Yeah.
Because if he's throwing better, then what he has been, then it's eventually going to be great, which is what he has been as a Brave, especially last year. So he's now 5 for 7 in save opportunities this year. So you never know. He may go on a tear and go 35 for 37 this year.
And that's fine with me. What I'm seeing right now, I think the conversation needs to be had. Because we can yes, the bullpen can get worse, but I think from here on out, the bullpen's only going to get stronger, especially with who we got down there in Gwinnett.
Yep, Craig Kimbrell.
I mean,
former Brave and, again, current Brave.
Just anybody who grew up a Braves fan, anybody that's been watching Braves fan a long time, knows about Craig Kimbrell. And right now, in 2025, he's with Gwinnett right now. He's got a 2.45 ERA, 7 games, 1 hold, 1 save on 2 save opportunities. So he does have 1 blown save. I'm going to be honest here and I'm going to be fair. 7 1/3 total pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, with an average against of 120 and a whip of .82. Yes, that is, as Bailey, me and him were talking beforehand, pointed out, his average is less than his career average. And again, like he said, that's 7 games compared to
like 800 something.
Yeah, 800 something.
So a lot less of a amount of data.
And yes, his past couple stints in the majors with some pro teams have not been the best. But I still can't wait to see him back up in a Braves uniform and see what he can do. Because I've been a Kimbrell fan for a long time. I still am. So yes, I got a little bit of bias there. And I'm going to be honest. But I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited anytime we go to our bullpen. Once the starter gets pulled, I'm excited going to our bullpen because I know what our bullpen has done all season.
Yep.
And our bullpen's the best part of our team.
Yeah, and that's the confidence you want to have.
Yeah.
In a specific facet of the game. The offense, which should be the best part of our team, they're getting there.
They are.
I think the last couple of series they have been. But
when your bullpen's as good as ours is, it's hard to say our offense has been our best. Our bullpen's just been shut down. 3 games. 3 games, not a single run let in.
Yep. And even when Kimbrell comes up, even if Iglesias is throwing well and maintains his starting position in the closer spot, you may see Kimbrell as the 8th inning guy. You may see him as a setup, going for the holes to give Iglesias the ball, or even vice versa. You may see him kind of come in only for certain situations or whatever. So, I mean, that's exciting to see.
I mean, that we could be on the verge of our next night shift.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would be huge.
Let's say Iglesias does start pulling it together and start going great. Okay, pull up Kimbrell. Daysbell in the 7th, Kimbrell in the 8th, Iglesias in the 9th. I'm sorry, but
then you got Dylan Lee, Pierce Johnson, Aaron Bummer. That's scary. That's scary.
Other teams are going to have a problem just like they have been all year long so far with our bullpen. But like we said, right now, he's down in Gwinnett with another former Brave that's now a Brave again, Ian Anderson. He was outrighted to Gwinnett today.
Yep. I'm interested to see what the move is with that. Whether their plan is to eventually get him into the rotation, get him in as a middle inning lone reliever, throwing 2-3 innings here and there, because we have seen him in the bullpen before. I think the biggest thing with him is he doesn't have a phenomenal career stat line, but what he has excelled in is the postseason, and it's a long season, and yes, essentially every game matters, but that's really what matters. Is your postseason numbers. He has a sub-2 ERA in the postseason. So is that someone that we're looking to see move into the rotation eventually, or is that someone that's going to be kind of like that middle guy, that 6th starter, but kind of throws from the throws from the bullpen. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm
this year.
very interested to see how that all develops out.
Yeah.
It could go a lot of ways depending on a few things. I mean, our current rotation right now, you got Chris Sale, Grant Holmes, Schwellenbach, Elder, and A.J. Smith-Shawver in that order is our current rotation right now.
Yep.
And with how it's going right now, when Strider, he's expected to be back on the 16th is his estimated return date right now. That is to be seen. That's just the expected. But we expect to see him back sometime middle of May. Who are we going to? Obviously, it's between Bryce Elder and A.J. Smith-Shawver, who Strider's going to replace. I kind of know where I'm at with who I'm, depending on some injury reports with A.J. Smith-Shawver. I know where I'm at with who I think he's gonna take. Who are you at? And I'll tell you who I'm with and why I think why.
Well, I'm at. I think if we pulled it up today and we saw right now Strider's coming back into the rotation, the one person that I would pick for him to replace would probably be Bryce Elder.
Okay, so we agree.
And that's not because I think Smith-Shawver has done any better than Bryce Elder lately or even all year. I think they've kind of been tit for tat. They've pitched well. At times they've struggled. At times, I think they've both battled very, very hard to maintain the positions that they've been in. But for me, it's the career opportunities. Over the last couple of years, both of them have had their opportunities, and I think Bryce Elder has consistently been average. He's never really showed signs of, I can go out and I can dominate 1 out of every 3 starts or 1 out of every 4 starts. A.J. Smith-Shawver has at times shown that if everything's clicking, he can be the number 2 on your rotation.
And that's where my head was with it all, is he's got more to gain and he's got more to give. I think keeping him in the lineup, because what was that start?
Which one?
This most recent start. What was that? What number start of his career?
I think that's his 3rd this year.
Yeah.
I'll find that here in a minute.
But he doesn't have nowhere near as many starts as Bryce Elder in the majors, I'm pretty sure.
That was game 2.
But I think he's got more to gain. The more starts he sees, the better he's going to get. Like you were saying, Elder's been consistently average, never really showing signs of, I'm going to get better.
Yeah.
I think A.J. Smith-Shawver's got the opportunity to get better, to show us, like you said, he can be a number 2 guy.
Yeah, so, I mean, AJ's got 10 career game starts.
Okay, so that was his 10th start.
He's 2-2 in his career with 6 no decisions. A career of 3.88. So, a career of 3.88 is not terrible.
No.
I mean, anytime you're throwing a 3 or below at the major league level, that's considered good. I wouldn't say elite, but that's considered good. That's above average. So, a 3.88 in only 10 career starts, there's a lot of what ifs that can go there. There's a lot of what ifs saying, well, he's gotten lucky at times, and now we're beginning to see that he's not as good as we think we are. Or if you're like me, and I believe I'm speaking for you as well, we're seeing, okay, he's got a little bit to work on, but I think he's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's kind of where my head's at with all of it. Just because he's got more, like I said, more to give, more to gain. The more you see him, the better.
Yeah. But that also goes back to Ian Anderson, though.
Because this was Elder's 56th career MLB start. And he's got a lifetime ERA. Where's it at? He's got 145 earned runs, lifetime ERA, 4.27. Yes, he's got 5 times the amount of games played, or games started, pitched in. But I just think A.J. Smith-Shawver's got a lot more, even to say grow. And so with Strider coming back, I know last time Strider came back, we went the Elder route. And I think this is a better opportunity to give AJ his shot instead this time and see what he can do in that role. And yes, if he's not working out, fine, we'll go send him back down, pull Elder back up, and try again. But right now, with where we're at, I just think AJ is the better choice for that 5-man rotation. And that's on the fact if Ian Anderson doesn't come in and get put in the rotation. That's if we bring him up and kind of make him more of a bullpen piece. Yeah, he could be a 6-man starter, but if he's more of a bullpen piece, Strider, AJ to finish out the rotation.
Yep. So, well, we've talked a lot about our pitching staff here in the last few minutes, but what are we looking at for our position? And I'm not necessarily talking about lineup, because our lineup is put together to where you can just throw everybody's name in a hat and just pull them out one by one, and you can send that lineup out there, and probably 4 out of every 5 games they're gonna find a way to score runs. But defensively, what are we looking at? Not just this year, but in the future.
Well, first thing first. If I was AA, I am going up to Verdugo today on our game break, and I'm handing him a 5-year extension and saying, hey, bud, we want you to be an Atlanta Brave for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And see what happens. I think Verdugo is great in that left field. Yes, we've got Jerks and Profar signed for 3 years. I think it's $52 million. But we've got him signed. And like you said, it's kind of going to be hard to, I guess, trade him away or whatever. But he's kind of put a black stain on his tenure with the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Brave fan,
$42 million.
$42 million, I'm sorry. But as a lifelong Braves fan, yeah, he might be great. I'd rather see a guy do it clean.
Yeah.
Do it fair.
And that's how I am. I mean, if you're someone that looks at, and we talked about this in our earlier episodes, if you're someone that looks at A-Rod, Barry Bonds,
yeah, if
Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, if you look at them, or Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the most recent ones that's been pegged, if you look at them and you point at them and you say cheater, or you always kind of have that in the back of your mind that you don't really have an issue with them, but you don't really cheer for them because they got caught, then how can you be a Braves fan and sit here and cheer for Profar on a nightly basis for the next 2.5, 3 years?
Exactly. If we can't have Barry Bonds, Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, I don't want Profar.
Yeah.
I want a guy if that's the way baseball is going to look at things, fine. I want Verdugo. Sign him 5 years. That get him. He's 28 years old right now. That gets him to the age 33 season.
Yep.
And go from there. We've got prospects right now, potential 4 and 5 years to have a new left fielder.
And even if you don't think that Verdugo can be the glove of the left field position, I think he definitely can be a bat, because you got to remember, Marcell Ozuna's only signed through this year. He'll be 35 in the offseason. With Alex Anthopoulos' track record, I kind of doubt we're going to see a re-sign with Marcell Ozuna. I don't think we're going to see him re-sign, because, I mean, if you do sign him, what are you going to sign him, 2-3 years max?
Yeah, roughly.
I mean that's putting him at finishing
37, 38.
Yeah, 37, 38 years old. I don't know that we'll see that. I think you're more likely to see Verdugo kind of be like a part-time left fielder, splitting time as a DH, and then maybe if Profar still is in the picture, see him in left field and maybe even DH when Verdugo's in the lineup in the field. Or, for some reason, if they decide to get rid of Profar, take him out of the picture altogether, go get another left fielder. Go get someone like Jarren Duran that's with the Red Sox that has speed, has a glove, can hit for power. Go get someone like that can actually play the position, and then Verdugo can just focus on his hitting.
I like all that, but I had a thought while you were saying all that, just running through our lineup and everybody. Well, we still got Drake Baldwin, and he'd be great in the DH position also.
Yep.
So now it kind of runs into, okay, let's say next year we sign Verdugo, Profar comes back, we don't sign Ozuna. Now we've got 3 guys that can play the DH position, whether it's Baldwin, Murphy. Well, it'd be 2 guys each night, and that could play. That could be the DH and Baldwin, Murphy, Verdugo, and Profar.
Yeah.
So then we kind of run ourselves into a situation of we don't really have a set DH.
Yeah.
Now, yes, if we're switching guys up lineup-wise, Verdugo and Profar are swapping nights in the field, Baldwin and Murphy like they've been doing. Murphy takes 2 games, Baldwin takes 1 game in the series. You know, it doesn't really give anybody a chance to get in a rhythm as a DH, but they are getting plate appearances, so
Right.
I don't think it'll hurt them.
Well, and the only issue I have with Baldwin, and I'm for holding on to him, although if we do, if the front office decides we're gonna hear Sean Murphy out, we're gonna make him franchise catcher until his contract runs out. If you decide to do that, then what are you going to do with Drake Baldwin? I mean, remember, Sean Murphy is signed through 2028.
That'll be his year 33 season.
That's his year 33 season.
Mm-hmm.
That's also going to be 25, 26, 27, 28. That's going to be Drake Baldwin's 27-year season. If you're not going to make Baldwin the franchise catcher in the next year or 2, I think you've got to trade him. I think you've got to trade him to get something in return. Because eventually when Sean Murphy's contract runs out and Baldwin's already into his mid to late 20s, well now, eventually his value is going to decline. So do you want to hold on to him until he's kind of pushing 30 years old before he's really your day-to-day catcher? Or do you just want to say, hats off to you, we appreciate you, we're going to go get some pitching?
It's a tough call.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Vice versa. If you decide, hey, we're seeing some good things out of Drake Baldwin, he's young, let's hold on to him, Murph, we're going to trade for somebody else. I don't know that you're going to see that.
It's a tough call because it's the Albert Pujols conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
Where right now, the way Sean Murphy and Marcell Ozuna are at the plate, they're showing you, hey, we're here to play. They're our 2 best bats in our lineup. So if it continues, it's hard to say, maybe we don't re-sign you and Murphy. Or it's hard to tell them we're not going to re-sign him and tell Murphy, hey, we're going to go with Baldwin when they have raped at the plate this year.
Yeah.
But then it becomes in that conundrum like I'm talking about where Pujols, one of the best hitters ever, signs with the Angels and then he falls off the face of the planet as a hitter. And who's to say that don't happen after re-signing Ozuna or going with Murphy and then all of a sudden he falls off and you've traded away Drake Baldwin.
Right. Or you could not re-sign Freddie Freeman and he hits just as good as he did when he was 25 years old.
Exactly. and that's the whole betting on the future aspect of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Is where, a guy might have a MVP season, Chris Davis, re-sign a huge contract, and then be the worst hitter in the league. Yeah,
no one will ever know because you can't. There's hundreds of players in the game today, and you cannot look at each and every one of them and tell their future. People act like they can. People act like it's a science. You can't. There's no way to tell it. All you can do is take a gamble, analyze data, and then just make a gut decision. That's what baseball is. And that goes right into the day-to-day operations of the manager making certain calls in the game. But I mean I think that's the options you're going to see. I think Verdugo has a good chance to maybe not even if he doesn't get a contract extension sometime this year, I think he has got a very good chance of seeing at least maybe a 3-year contract coming up next year, to get a few years out of him. Profar kind of up in the air. It may not be. That's just my assumption. Anthopoulos may have all intentions on keeping him and making him the face of the franchise. Doubt it. But I'm just saying that's just kind of my assumption.
But that's all it is, man. Guessing futures.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of guessing futures, I'm trying to figure out what AA is up with signing all these outfielders.
Yeah.
Because, like we talked about, we signed Rosario. Okay, cool. What is he there for?
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
What is Rosario doing? No offense. Love the guy. NLCS MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Braves legend.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Unless that AA is trying to make a play towards the end of the year for a Bubba Shett at the shortstop position or a top tier pitcher.
Yeah.
Because right now, Nacho Alvarez, a guy we haven't really touched on much, that's because he's been hurt. He's on the 60-day IL. So you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. But he's our top prospect shortstop.
Yep. And mind you, with an ETA of being in the show sometime this year. So he's expected to be ready this year. It's not like he's in AA and he's still got a couple more years to get ready. I mean, he's expected to be seen this year.
You know, with everything we got going on, signing Rosario, it really feels like AA is setting up a deadline trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was no point in getting another outfielder. Because Acuna's coming back this month.
Mm-hmm.
Right field's set, taken care of. Michael Harris is the best center fielder in the league. Argue with a tree. Argue with a wall. I don't care. He's the best center fielder in the league. I don't care what you argue with. He's the best center fielder in the league.
I'm right there with you.
So all we got is the left field position. And then there's Alex Verdugo. To me, he's won left field.
He's there.
And yes, we've got Eli White, who's on a tear right now. But defensively and offensively, Verdugo's the better pick in left field for right now. But we have Eli White right there. So what are we doing? We have Stuart Fairchild. Now, yes, we got him for cash considerations.
Right.
From Orioles?
Reds.
So we got him for cash consideration. So we've already got him and Eli White. We're going to have two backup outfielders.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need a third for?
Yeah. Well, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, if they're not a starter, what else do they bring to the table? It's not like Rosario is a two-way outfielder and middle infield guy that can kind of play, 4 or 5 different positions. I mean, he doesn't really hold the title of being a platoon guy as far as, hey, our second baseman needs a rest, go play today. Hey, our left fielder needs a rest, go play today. It's either center fielder or left fielder. He's not in the lineup. And I'll give him right field just because, if you can play outfield in the Major League, you can play any of the 3 positions. And then, even though he's not going to be eligible for the postseason, but Jurickson Profar will be back this year.
Completely forgot about him. There's another one.
He's going to be on the roster at some point in time this year. Now, it may only be for 5 minutes if something is being done to, remove him as far as a trade, whatever. I'm not saying that's, been talked about. You just never know. But
especially for a guy that can't play in the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, like Ethan said, I like Rosario, but I don't really understand what the goal is long term. I mean, right now, we probably, it wouldn't hurt to have another bat, another left fielder to use here and there. But let's talk about once we get to July. What is Rosario going to do for us?
Not a thing, really. And the only position we don't have locked down is shortstop. We've got a role player in Nick Allen there.
Who's been playing great.
He's been playing great. Don't get me wrong. He has been playing great, but he is just a role player.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of leaves the question, okay, all these extra guys we got, are these just trade assets to go after a guy like Bubba Shett? Because the Blue Jays have a top 100 prospect in a shortstop. In their minors, in their farm system.
Yeah, he's number 83 on the top 100. Yep.
So that somebody like Bo Bichette, who I think his contract runs up this year.
Yep.
This year. So yeah, I mean, he's a great for Toronto to get some assets. He's a great trade guy. He's a guy we could use.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Nacho Alvarez, who's a young guy. Yes, he's number 67 on the top 100 prospect list.
Yep.
But we signed Bo Bichette, 5 years. That gets him through his year 33 season?
32 yep.
season. Then you got Nacho Alvarez right there, ready to play, back up, and move forward. So that to me is kind of...
Or if you're going to go with Bo Bichette for, in my own terms, I'll say if you're going to go lengthy, such as 5 years or more, I think now you take Nacho Alvarez, you put him on the trade block, you go get pitching.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let me look at, what's Nacho, what's his age? Because, I mean, if he's anything more than 22, you've got to put him on the trade block and try to get some pitching.
Yeah,
you're not gonna keep him in the minors as a top 100 prospect until he's in his mid to late 20s. So you're gonna have to have him on the roster. But if he's not gonna be playing every day, he's not doing you any good.
Exactly.
So
it's just a lot of thoughts going through with all these. I call them weird acquisitions.
Exactly 22.
He's 22. See,
exactly 22.
He's a good guy to have on the block if you're going to go after, if we're going to go after like a Bo Bichette. No, we're not saying it's going to be Bo.
Just
obviously,
anybody established.
Yeah. Obviously,
anybody established.
Saying Bo because that was a big off-season point.
Yeah.
But just somebody at that position, and then maybe go after another top-tier pitcher. Starter, preferably. But, so, just a lot of questionable things. And I think it's just AA's MO to sign former Braves back to the Braves just for fanfare, ticket sales maybe at this point, because that's about all we seem to do is re-sign old Braves.
Oh yeah.
Jesse Chavez, Eddie Rosario. This is like the second time we've re-signed them since 2021. We signed Jorge Soler last year, I believe it was.
Yep.
Ian Anderson again. So I don't know. There's just a lot of weird moves that I personally feel is all set up moves for something towards the trade deadline for the postseason if we're got ourselves in the position in a postseason hunt.
Well, and I think the big reason we've been harping on the possibility of a Bo Bichette trade between Toronto and the Braves is because obviously that was it was a kind of a possibility in the offseason, and then it just kind of died down and dwindled away. But we've also kind of seen some stuff resurface throughout this first month and a half of the season of it maybe still happening later, closer to the deadline. But to me, the reason I think that there is a higher possibility of it happening opposed to it not happening is because Toronto just recently extended Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s contract. Fairly lengthy, a lot of money. Basically, to me, saying, hey, you're the guy we're going to build around. We want you here. Bo Bichette's in the last year of his contract. Mm-hmm. They haven't done that.
So they
may do it.
They may.
They may be doing a fundraiser right now to find some money for him, but they haven't done it yet.
They're like the third richest organization in baseball. They don't need a fundraiser.
So I'm just kind of thinking that maybe they're going to go a different route. Maybe they're going to go with the shortstop they got in the minor leagues, and that's going to be their shortstop for the next 7-8 years. That may be their thought. That their thought may be, hey, we're going to go as hard as we can this year, and if we're in the postseason, Bo Bichette's going to do what he does, and if not, then we're going to use him to get some prospects.
And I think that's a very fair argument in that regard. So it's all obviously future guessing, like we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But it's what makes sense in our heads and to us with the trades and all the moves AA is making right now. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at it on a blanket screen, look at the lineup, look at what we got, and look at it just like that, you scratch your head going, why?
Yeah.
Why do we need this? We already have 5 outfielders, a 6th coming back in July. What do we need a 7th for?
Yeah, because, I mean, the only infielders that we've got as far as middle infield is Nick Allen, Ozzie, Arcia, and Eli White, just because he can play so many different positions. But as far as true starters, it's Ozzie Albies.
Yeah, that's it. That's the
I
only
mean,
true
Arcia
middle
is not
infield.
producing. Nick Allen has pretty much beaten him out. And Nick Allen, don't get me wrong, has played great, but he's never been a star player. So is he going to be someone that plays great for a few months, or is he going to play great for a whole season? So if you just go based on just history, as far as true established middle infielders, all we have is Ozzie Albies.
And while we like Nick Allen and everything he's been doing for us, we're going to question that longevity
Yeah.
of can he do it for a whole season and not just the month of April.
And God, I hope so.
I do too, until we either figure out what we're going to do at that position, or if he sticks it together and we're like, hey, we actually don't want to give up this many prospects for you. We're going to go try to sign you in the offseason.
Yep.
And save some of the guys we got.
Yep. But, I mean, it's a lot to think about. I think we're going to see a couple moves. Anthopoulos always makes moves. That's one thing I like about him. He's going to go after this year, but also while thinking about the future. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to read, fun to see. We're excited about this coming series. We got the Dodgers tomorrow night at home for a 7-game home stretch.
Dodgers 3 games, Reds 4 games.
That's right. We got Grant Holmes on the mound tomorrow. We'd love to see him pump us on, get some outs, keep his pitch count down, go deep just like he did in Toronto. And hopefully we can pull 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. You're going to hear me say it all year. Win the series.
Win the series.
Just win the series. Win the series, and we're going to be in good shape.
What was that math you did on that, by the way? Winning 1 game above 500
So
per month.
this was a deep dive that I took yesterday while at work. I was just kind of thinking about it, just curious if, and I'm not going to say just the Braves, but just any major league team. You play 162 games in a year. It's a 6-month season. April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months. If you go just 1 game above 500 each month, that's 6 wins above 500 in the season. So 500 for a whole year is 81 and 81. If you get 6 extra wins from the 81, now you're at 87 wins. Well, you throw in a couple 3-game win streaks, 4-game win streaks, whatever, a couple, just like the last couple weeks the Braves have won, was it 4 series in a row?
Yes.
4 series in a row. That's 12 games. We've won 8 of them. You throw in a couple of weeks like that, you're now going from 87 wins to maybe even 90 wins, 92 wins. So you don't have to win 20 games in a row to be in the top, 7 teams of the league with the best record of 90, 95 wins. You just have to play consistent. And this past month, the Braves did that. And
3 games above 500 month of April.
Yep, exactly. So you just got to keep playing hard, keep winning the series, and you're going to hit that 500 mark here, hopefully, in the next week or two. And then we're just going to take off, especially when Acuna comes back. If we're at 500, when Acuna comes back, it's over. The Mets better watch out. I mean, they've been playing good, but they've also played the most games in the league so far against teams with a record of 500 or below.
That's 20 of them to be exact.
20. And
as of today.
Of what, 30 games?
Yeah.
30 games? Cool.
So 60.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted.
So 66.67% of their games have been against teams under 500 ball.
And the Braves have played 12.
12. And the Cubs have played 0, and they have a winning record. So the Cubs right now are looking raw.
Yeah.
Obviously, our boy Dansby Swanson is over there for him right now. But it's
shaping up to be a fun year, though.
It is, and it's looking. It's given us a lot to talk about. Honestly.
Yeah, it is. A whole
so
lot.
it's been a blessing in us starting this podcast when we did. A lot to talk about, but at the same time, it's like, okay, hey guys, this is cool. Let's get above 500.
Let's get
start.
there.
Let's start looking back like the Braves again.
And I think we are. And Chris L talked about that this week, that they're starting to look like the team they know they are. The offense is starting to fire on all cylinders. The rotation is getting better and better start by start, and the bullpen is holding its own. So, I mean, everything's starting to come together, and the record is starting to reflect that. So, I think we're going to be in good shape the next couple months, but it's a long season. You just got to keep playing ball, keep playing good baseball, keep making good decisions, and we're going to get there. So,
well, looking forward to the Dodger series, and we'll be back with y'all around then.
10-4. Appreciate it, guys.